Hey guys, LechK here. Today a quick video to show you how to replace headers on a 2007 3.5 liter Dodge Charger SXT. We've got some new headers here. I'm actually replacing the same ones or same type I had on my car already that I got done a while ago. They basically cracked, so it's time to replace. I also have the header wraps. It's titanium lava something wrap. Supposedly the color doesn't fade. But regardless, that's just to insulate it to keep the heat as much away as possible from the engine. And as you guys can see, my old ones in there basically cracked at the connections. And I did do a little welding video, which lasted me a few months. But now, I'll show you guys under. It completely went. So the car is pretty loud. So it's time to replace. So there's one in here, which is a little tough to get to. We'll see if we have to remove this, because I do have Magnum exhaust, so it's like one long piece. It doesn't connect over here usually. But we'll see if we can get to those bolts in there. And then the one on the right is the one that's the big issue. Well, passenger side, as you see, completely disconnected here. So that one needs to go. So we're gonna start from the top. We are gonna have to pop out our air intake, whether you have the box stock one or the aftermarket one like I have here. So we just gotta unbolt it from the manifold here, disconnect this tube here, and disconnect the sensor here, and this will come out. Similar setup, same idea with the box setup, just a few more screws to remove here. But our head is over here, so that's gonna give us better access to the bolts in there now, at least from the top. Then next we're gonna get on the bottom, start disconnecting there. So next we're gonna get under the middle of the car, or so about, because we are gonna have to disconnect this mid pipe here, because we have to drop these from the headers a little bit to allow space to remove them. Don't forget to remove, disconnect the wires to your O2 sensors on each one, so when you drop them they don't pull the wires out. And mine, since this is aftermarket exhaust, is connected right here, which is kind of in the middle. So these bolts gotta come off, and then these should come apart. Note, if your car still has the original exhaust and even aftermarket, these might be rusted shut. You might have to cut them, which means after you will have to replace them. So be ready for that. I am not ready, but worst case, I'll run to AutoZone or Amazon. So surprisingly, I was able to loosen this up just by hand, which is great. Now I just gotta finish it off, pop this off, and we'll move on. But I believe like this section of the exhaust is only torqued down to about 45 foot-pounds. If it was done right, it should be doable. Then the headers themselves to the engine block, I think, is only about 18 to 25 foot-pounds, so you don't want to over torque that. Just a reminder for that if you don't get to the later part of the video. Okay, back under the engine. So make sure you disconnect it. O2 sensors from the piping, and now we need to remove this bolt and this bolt here to pop this off the header, and then we'll slide this whole thing off out of the way so we can access the header, and we'll do the same thing on this side here, which should be easy here as we're technically already disconnected here. So we can pop it off and disconnect this piece here after. Remember when I mentioned some bolts might break off? Well, this one definitely did. So we're gonna be replacing that, which I believe comes with the new headers. So we should be okay. One is down, it's loose now, which will now be loose back here. Easier to slide this off and get it out of the way. And now we just gotta get this side, but don't forget, from the headers you have to disconnect the O2 sensors here as well, so don't rip any of the cables. And this mid section is just stuck here. I can't pop it out. I already disconnected the pipes from my headers, and now I gotta pop this off. So I wanted to show you guys a quick tip, trick you can do to get it loose. You're gonna need some torch, hammer, and that should do it. Alright, so the dual pipes here, I disconnected them. There's a connector here in the middle which I disconnected, so they're not connected together, because when they're connected together it's even harder to pop these out. But basically, the pipe here that's going to the header is loose now, but I can't pop it off here. So the clamp is off. I have this nice and tight so it doesn't swing back and forth. And all I'm gonna do is heat this up, which I already did with the torch a little bit. The heat should help loosen it up. And now I'm reusing my clamp. So the clamp that was holding this here, I reclamped it here, and now I can use it to tap it and get this pipe loose. Just went all the way back in, but you guys get the idea. Now it's loose, I should be able to pop it out. Gotta get a little lift in the front, and then boom, the pipe is out. We'll do the second one, and I'll go. So the first mid pipe is disconnected. You do have to separate them, otherwise when they both join it's hard to slide them off. So I have to pop one bolt off from the connector between them. Now I got one off. I'll do the second one, pop these out, and we can start removing the headers. Alright, you got both pipes out. I feel like disconnecting that midsection might be the toughest part, because you need it nice and loose to slide these out. Yeah, we're about at least 2 inches in the other pipes. Here's what I was talking about, where the header completely broke off. So we just gotta disconnect that, make sure everything matches up, and then we'll start removing the headers and begin the install process. Alrighty, next we unbolt the headers. So like I mentioned, mine I already have the aftermarket ones. If you don't have the aftermarket ones, you would have the original ones, which would have a heat shield that you have to remove first, then you unscrew the headers. But basically 10mm bolts, so we're gonna use a 10mm socket, and you gotta get that one off. These two, a couple more over here, which is hard to show you from this angle, but for this side it will be easier to get from the top to all of them, if not most of them at least. The other side, it will actually be easier to work from the bottom to reach them, which I showed you guys earlier. Don't forget to disconnect the O2 sensors. It's connected right there. The cable's right here. I'll show you guys. So just gotta disconnect that so you don't accidentally rip it out, and then we'll be good. So actually on the driver's side, it might be easier to reach some of the bolts from underside as well. As you guys can see, pretty good access right here. Got this last one off already. I gotta get these. And with the passenger side, it's definitely easier. From under, I think like from the top it's almost impossible. So we got all these, easy access. this last one here, well, not last one, there's still one on the outside. Actually, easiest way to access it is to go around the front here. And as you guys can see, I can reach right there. Get my bolt around it, and same with the last one. It's hard to show you, but I can feel it right here as well. So yeah, I'm putting my hand right in front of the axle over there. So that's that. Let me pop these off. And just a close up from this side. That's the final bolt. So once you have the bolts off, you just pull out each header through the bottom. Make sure you disconnected the O2 sensor. Unscrew it. Don't forget to remove the gasket as well. Oh, okay, it was already on the header, my bad. Alright. Oh, no, it's right here. Alright. Make sure nothing's damaged. All that. And now we can start reassembly, install of the new headers. So here's what the old headers look like. As you see, it's completely broke off. This one was still intact, but it did have cracks here that I did weld up in the other video. So this held up for a few months actually. I was actually really surprised, but as you see, it started cracking again. So that's why we're replacing them. Now, don't forget to remove your O2 sensors. On these, it was a 22mm wrench. Pops off pretty easy, it's not torqued down too hard. So remove both as you're gonna install them on the new headers. We're gonna get the new headers wrapped up and then put back on. Alright guys, so before we pop on the headers, I am gonna wrap them. I'll do a separate video on how to do this so I don't waste time here. But once we get them wrapped up, we can pop them back on. Also, while I was getting ready for this, I quickly replaced my starter that I've been meaning to do for years. Once you have the headers and the mid exhaust pipe out, it's really easy to get to it, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I quickly did that. So if you're curious, I did a video, posted it. Here's the new starter, works great. But anyways, let's get these wrapped up and finish this up. Alrighty guys, new head is all wrapped up now, ready to go. I didn't spray them with any silicone protectant. I don't have time for that or have it on hand. But now we can begin the reinstall process. We can remove these bolts here because we're going to be connecting our O2 sensors, which I'll do now. And then we pop them on. Make sure you have everything needed for install. So we got the headers, we got 6 bolts for each, and we got the gaskets, and also the replacement bolts to connect the headers to your exhaust pipes. As you see, those are shot. Okay, we're gonna start with the driver's side first. Make sure you have your O2 sensor installed. The gasket, have it ready. There's only one way it can go. As you see, if you turn it any other way, it will not line up. So that's easy way to tell how to line it up. Have your bolts ready, which we do. And it's going right there. Let's do it. Alrighty, as I mentioned, the mid pipe is out. That gives us a space to work here. And now we gotta get our header in here. We're gonna line up our gasket, line up our header, and bolt it on with all the bolts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it. So you slide in it in from the bottom, just like I placed it here, but it's hard to get this first screw in, so I'm gonna try to get the first screw in from the top. So leave it here, and now let's go to the top. So from this angle, I'm gonna be able to get the first screw in here. That's gonna hold the gasket in place for me, and then I'll be able to get the rest in. on in. So now it's holding it for me. Now we can try from this or from the bottom for the next. Alrighty, I got these two on. Now it should be easier to secure the rest. Once we have it in place, that's what it looks like. Now we just gotta get 3 more bolts here. 1, 2, and 3. Tighten everything up. I believe it's 18 foot-pounds of torque. Anywhere between 18 to 25 should be max. You don't want to break anything. Once you break a bolt in your engine bay, that's going to be a real headache. But I'll get these installed and then we'll go to the other side. Alrighty, we got this side bolted down. You're gonna find yourself doing this by a hand wrench and not really a socket for most of them, as you just cannot get in there. So it takes time, it's annoying. Take a deep breath and just get through it. Save some energy for the other side as well. And now we just gotta connect our O2 sensor right here to this piece. Reconnect that, and then we move on to the other side. So passenger side is going to be a little more fun, even tighter space to work with, and you can basically only work from the bottom here. But if we removed it, we'll get it back on. We're going to line it up the same way, get our first bolt on, and then one by one bolt it down. So we'll get it lined up. Now we just got to connect it. If the car was lifted, it would be a lot easier than working with a jack. But we work with what we have. Actually wasn't that hard to get the first bolt on. I put my hand right through here, held it like this, and then with my other hand I was able to bolt it right on. So it's very doable. One by one I'll bolt it on, show you guys the done product. Alrighty, everything's bolted down. So right here. 1, 2, and 3. I was able to get a socket wrench in there once I got them in a little bit to tighten it down. Next to over here, this one you have to use a hand wrench. This one you have to stove a hand wrench, and then you can get a socket under it after. This one, and then the last one, it's hidden here. So you go over here, and for this one you can both get a hand wrench and a socket. That one over there. And then you can also access those two from this side as well. So not that bad. Manageable. Just take some time. Remember to reconnect the O2 sensor right here. This one needs to connect right to this piece right there. And then we can start our exhaust. So that's really the header install. Both sides are ready. Now all you gotta do is connect the mid pipe to the ends here with the included bolts, which then runs and connects there, and you are all set. Alrighty guys, so we got the headers installed now. Now it's time for the fun part. Reconnect these guys and connect them to the header with the included bolts. I'm just gonna clean all this up with a wire brush, make sure we have a nice clean connection, and we'll start putting it all back together. Alright, so now we reconnect the mid pipe. So we're going to connect these ends back to the pipe here first. Slide that all the way back on. I'm gonna tighten anything back up yet, and then I'll see if I can line it up with the headers so we can make our connection and all that, and bolt it on, and hopefully that's it. Okay, so I have this piece in, it's loose right now, and what I didn't realize that this piping actually twists right here. That's what this connect is for. So this twists so you can adjust it. So I'm gonna adjust it as I need it. As you can see, it is right there. I'm gonna pop it right to the header. Right there, line it up, bolt it on, and then I'll be able to adjust and connect here. So let's connect the header first. Alright, so I got it lined up. Now I can easily move this. Pop it onto the bolt here. And then just bolt it down on both sides. And here it is bolted on. Very simple. We'll do the other side now over here. Connect this guy. Run it the same way, and then we'll be able to reconnect the middle. Line it all up. But this is solid now. I got this one lined up. It's in there for now. Pop the bolts in. 1, 2. Same thing. We run extension ratchet from the top to hold the bolt in place while I tighten it down from this end. And that's it. And there we go, all set. Bolt it down. I'll try to list the tour specs later as well for you guys. But now I just gotta reconnect the middle here, and we are good to go. The middle is all connected back up now. Everything's nice and tight and in place. Now we just gotta reconnect the O2 sensors there. O2 sensors that are over here, and we can test for any leaks. We gotta reconnect this one here, and it goes right there. Okay, that's one. And this one here that sits right back here, so we connect that up as well. And I popped it back in to its holder here. So now all four are reconnected. We are good to go. Let's start the car and see if there's any leaks. Oh, this is a great sound. No more crazy noise. So don't freak out about the smoke. It's just the header wrap burning off. It's gonna be hard to tell if anything's leaking right now. So we check under. And everything looks good. So everything will be fine. Just gotta let the header wraps burn off. And we're gonna be good to go. I can reassemble the intake and all that. Let's say you don't use header wraps. Basically, you're checking leaks by any connection points. Where you connect it to the engine block, or you connect it right here to the exhaust pipe. See if any fumes are leaking. But when I checked under the car, I didn't see anything. So we should be good. So that's it, guys. Everything's back in place now. We got new headers. Everything's running smoothly. I'm very happy. If you have any questions, feedback for others, please share, ask, come back for more. We have lots of how-to videos, car stuff, house stuff, and lots more, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day.